One.
What I've been wanting since they wreck.
No, I
Be my baby.
Duly noted.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, turn it,
Welcome
quick it,
back. This is the first official, not the test pilot, show of Duly Noted, because the first one worked out so well.
And it was noted that it worked out well.
It was noted duly.
It was duly noted.
It was duly noted.
It was newly doted.
Regardless, for those of you just joining us, I am Ma3stro in my traditional Ma3stro getup. That's right, I actually do own the top hat that's in my logo.
And I'm disappointingly Tim. And I'm happy to be here.
Disappointingly, Tim. What we need to do is we need to get you a pair of sunglasses.
I do. The deal with the glasses?
Deal with the glasses. You can actually buy those. They're just pixelated and square.
That's a beautiful thing.
Regardless. Let's go ahead and just get into it. So, Tim, what have you been listening to?
The grand question, what have I been listening to this week? Well, as I stated in the pilot, I spend a lot of time listening to A-list music, as organized on the Apple. They're not charts really. They sort of correspond with charts, and you end up on them because of your popularity in iTunes specifically. But lately, I've been listening to some new releases by some surprising cats. First of all, Andrew WK's back on the scene, and he's partying hard.
Party. You want to have a party? We're gonna have a party.
I was sort of taken aback by this jam because it starts off with the typical Andrew WK. It's really, really kind of heavy, and then there's this dopey piano thing that happens in it. I'm gonna cue it up real quick just so that you can get a listen to it, as it is absolutely ridiculous, and I love it. Here it is. This is Music is Worth Living For by Andrew WK. I'll play a few seconds of it just so that you get a feel for it. Exactly. It's ridiculous, but still very fun. I definitely enjoyed it. And I also spent some time with the new Muse, Thought Contagion, which sort of goes to musical places that I didn't expect from Muse. But at the same time, it's not necessarily out of character. It's in their aesthetic. Interesting effects. Here is Thought Contagion. It's very Muse.
It's amusing.
What about you? What have you been listening to?
I got a couple of things. The charts were very busy this week. Pretty much everything but some new EDM tracks. Unless you want to call the Erasure track an EDM track, but it is just the chamber version of what they played on their last album, World Be Gone. I mean, it's really simple stuff, just all the pretty harps.
Oh yeah.
But these were EDM tracks, technically. So there's that. There's the new supergroup, August Green, which is Robert Glasper, Kareem Riggins, and Common. Very good tune. This is their single off this album.
Okay.
This is actually a gospel tune by I believe the Sounds of. I believe it was the Sounds of Darkness. It's some old gospel.
Sound of Silence? The Sound of Madness?
No, Sounds of. I forget what it was. It's an old gospel tune. But and also the other there's another jazz album, Frank Catalano, and more importantly, Jimmy Chamberlin from Smashing Pumpkins on this album. If you want to hear what he's like as a jazz drummer.
Okay, that's some pretty deep pockets there.
He's very heavy-handed. But the big thing I want to talk about in terms of what I enjoy listening to is Logic's new mixtape.
No, I haven't spent any time with it. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Bobby Tarantino 2. Very, very T-heavy. It's obviously a follow-up to Bobby Tarantino 1, But I believe these two characters sum it up very aptly.
Well, are we talking about mixtape logic or album logic? What does it matter? I mean, logic is logic.
That's actually that's the introduction track. That's Rick and Morty, and the entire first track called Grandpa's. I believe, what is it called? Grandpa's Spaceship. Yep, Grandpa's Spaceship. They just do this whole bit about Morty wants to play the new Logic, and they have this discussion about Logic albums and Logic mixtapes. What Rick ends up saying basically is Logic albums are very, like, they have a meaning behind them, especially if you listen to Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
One of the singles off of 1-800-273-8255, which is the worldwide suicide hotline, so very heavy. But the Logic mixtapes are very more like, you know, pumping and jumping around. I mean, here, let me go ahead and just play you this one so you get a feel for it.
The haters that love to hate gon' pop an ambient. Star-Lord, champion. Know the name and they know the alias, that's for sure. Gave him 44. Now here's 44 more.
So very more traditional hip hop. The big one off of this though is Every Day, which was a joint track with Marshmello. And you get this nice fusion of modern EDM and just Logic's flow. I very much enjoyed it. My girlfriend loved making me listen to it constantly, so she's thrilled that I'm actually playing it. But here, just give you a little sample.
Live my life.
There's that EDM.
They tell me I'm the
And
man.
Logic.
You the man right now. You the man right now with the whole wide world in the palm of your hand right now.
So very it's a very good mix between the two. It was done very well. I believe out of everything, that was probably the strongest, I guess, mixtape this week. A bunch of other things that I just went through, but I liked spending most of my time with the new Logic mixtape.
Yeah, yeah.
Given I've spent a lot of time with him because I analyzed him in pop analysis as well.
It's so funny that the first clip from the Logic bit that you showed features the exact flow that Snoop Dogg made fun of. The
Right. He was. I remember he claimed he didn't know Future started it or something.
Yeah, he was talking about that.
Yeah, but that's always a fun one to play. But lots of diversity in what I've been listening to this week. Of course, if you want to get the full rundown, go watch Record Rundown. It was posted on Friday.
Yes, Record Rundown. Also, my man in Stone Temple Pilots has really pumped the brakes. So I'm spending a lot of time on hard rock just because that's sort of where I live musically. And this jam came up. Well, first off, they had this song called Meadow, which is just sounds like the summer.
I actually have that queued up later for the albums.
And it's really quite good. It's a fun little jam, but really a great departure from where they were, in their Banana 101.5 days, the loud wire radio or all that jazz. Now this song, The Art of Letting Go, is sort of an interesting departure, even more so because it has some interesting harmonic lines. It is really down-tempo. There's a lot of stuff. So here is The Art of Letting Go. I'm going to bring it into the middle here. It's like slower than half-tempo, all of their songs. Very, very distinct departure. Now, I have a fun little story from earlier this week. A friend of mine was suggesting covers for the rock band I'm in, and she suggested a song I'd never heard of before called Zombie. Never heard of it. I had no idea what it was.
Zombie.
That's the one. So I'm like, I don't know if anybody... Well, no, that's not the one now.
No, I know, but that's the one that I thought of immediately.
What's interesting is I had never heard of it, and it was on none of my lists. And the following day, it pops into the Hard Rock A-list. This is Bad Wolves performing the song Zombie. Now, I understand this is an interesting song because it's a tribute to someone who died recently. I don't have that story yet.
She was the... Oh, God, I forget her name. But that's the one I was referring to. That's the Cranberries.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the one I sang originally, given it was her rendition of it. She died, I think, a month or two ago. I remember doing a tribute to her on Record Rundown because they're one of their greatest hits. I think Star is one of their greatest hits albums. Actually went up there.
Well, this is Zombie by Bad Wolves. It's really heavy material as far as content goes.
It was Dolores O'Riordan. Oh God, she is it's very Irish. O'Riordan was the singer.
Oh, Riordan.
Yeah, but she passed away middle of January, unfortunately. I remember doing the tribute. But she's the one who popularized that song. That was one of their biggest hits, the Cranberries. They also had a tune that I remember from, like, I Just Shot John Lennon.
Wow.
I just shot John Lennon. It's a very intense song.
It sounds intense indeed. Now, do you have any predictions for what you intend to listen to next week? Yours is sort of on rails.
God,
for those...
it depends what ever ended up charting. I know Snoop Dogg released an album. I'm hoping that charts.
Well, for those of you who don't follow Dave's material yet, do you want to talk a little bit about the more on rails listening?
Oh,
you
yes.
do in the
So
programs.
Every week I look at the Billboard charts and I go through the top 5 charts. The top 5 albums of the classical charts, the jazz charts, the rock charts, the R&B and hip hop charts, the dance and electronic charts, and then the Billboard 200. And I go through all 5. I listen to them. I only go over them if they're new. So if if it's their first time in the top 5, or if they've been released, I will go over them. If they've been in the top 5 before, I usually just ignore them, unless there's a specific reason that they are back in the top 5, such as the death of an artist, or a news story, or another.
Or if it showed up on Glee.
Or if it showed up on Glee. There needs to be a reason for me going over it. But I do those every week on the show called Record Rundown. I just give a quick little blurb about the album. I play them all. It's about 10 seconds like I did for these. That show comes out every Friday at 5 p.m. without fail.
Check it out.
You absolutely check it out, and then you can hear me talk more about them on the podcast with giving my opinions on them, because I do try to remain unbiased while I'm listening to them, which some weeks is harder than others.
Yeah, what's that fellow with the rainbow hair?
Yeah, 6ix9ine. I really want to be done with him.
Said everyone.
Pretty much.
Now, this is an important question. Is Glee relevant still? Did I just make a dated reference?
I think.
Am I the worst?
I think the more up-to-date one would be a Pitch Perfect reference.
Ah, son of a pitch.
But
I did it.
Tish.
I did it. So because of this, you can begin to make predictions about what's going to happen. You want the new Snoop Dogg to chart? You're hoping for that? What else you got?
I do want the new Snoop Dogg. I'm trying to think what else has been released. Sometimes I'm just surprised at what gets up there. I'm trying to think of any other big names that have released. The Stone Temple Pilots. I'm going to wait for that to show up, as we talked about today.
New 3 Days Grace is coming around. I expect that to chart eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Although that's so strange now that they no longer have their original lead singer. It's the little brother to the bassist who's doing the singing.
Right.
And it's a little disappointing because he just sounds like he's trying really hard to sound like the old guy. I can't remember either of their names. But if you give me 3 days grace on that one, I'm sure I can find out and get you by next week. But still, the point remains that there's all these old mid-2000s bands that are just sort of reappearing. Breaking Benjamin came back into the scene. You've got this 3 Days Grace. They're coming in, and Pop Evil with that song.
I remember doing the Pop
Was that
Evil.
Waking Lions?
Waking Lions.
Yeah, that's a fun song. Really heavy intro. I had no idea who I was listening to at the beginning of it, and really great and interesting stuff. Some people, like Shinedown, they're not making some choices that are very good in my opinion.
I remember you mentioning that last week, that you weren't a fan of Shinedown.
I used to be a pretty big Trivium fan. Now, Trivium is a really heavy metal band that was really popular, at least where I was, at about 2006. They had a couple albums that were really quite good. They recently came onto the scene and this single called The Heart From Your Hate. And my goodness, it is just 5 Finger Death Punch. And it's not even sorry about it.
Just looking through my backlog, it looks like I looked at back in October Trivium's The Sin and the Sentence.
Yeah, that's the album that this thing comes from.
Yep.
And it just sounds like 5 Finger Death Punch in the ways that aren't good. Like, my opinion on 5 Finger Death Punch is pretty simple. It's like acoustic hard rock music that you can sing by the campfire with some heavy content. And Ivan whines for a while. Ivan's the lead singer. And a lot of bands have been following suit because apparently it's very marketable. So it's a little disappointing there. So what do you think? A good week for listening?
It's a diverse week for listening. There's something on there for everybody. I remember last week being very jazz heavy.
You like jazz?
We made that joke last week too.
Well, it's not on my A list. It's a B joke. Oh, honey.
But yeah, it was a pretty good. I enjoyed it. A lot of good things. Other people, if you want to check them out, Brad Meldau, the Judas Priest album. There's a Jimi Hendrix Legacy recording. Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats. Lil Yachty, David Byrne. Very diverse. So check out the play for Record Rundown. Check out the playlist on Spotify. And yeah.
Very nice. Well, we're going to go into a break here, and we'll catch you on the other side. This is Duly Noted with Tim and Dave. All right, we are back from the break, my friends. And this is Duly Noted with Disappointingly Tim and the Ma3stro.
Hello.
Am I going to keep that name?
What? Disappointingly Tim?
It's delightful and ironic.
Disappointingly Tim.
Or not ironic. Or not.
Unironically Tim.
There it is. Or ironically Tim. That's
Ironically Tim.
Am I a hipster? Well, not today.
I don't know. Have you seen the hats that I wear?
Touché.
Do you look how I'm dressed right now?
Well, I see that you had to top me, and that you were invested in that choice because you couldn't stand a tie. And if I broke it, it would be a tie breaker. Festivities.
I'm so sorry.
This must be his own private hell. You signed up. You asked me to do this.
I did.
So
it's really it's just my own fault. I made this for me. So let's
get right into the news.
Talk about some news.
Hashtag send news.
So, what's the big thing that happened in the news is this is going to be in the classical industry. They have the British Library has digitized and made publicly available Mozart's diary of all of his sketches.
That is really, really cool and very important too. There's so much that, at least in my experience when going through my training, that I wanted to know about Mozart because he's such an interesting person historically. Died super young, really highly prolific, had a lot of problems as a result of just strange upbringing and all that jazz. Syphilis made him crazy, but he still wrote some amazing music.
Also died very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-30s, poor guy.
Yep. But the good thing about if you go to the British, there'll be a link to this in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But it's about 30-ish pages. It is copywritten to the British Library, but they call it Mozart's Thematic Catalogue.
I like that.
Mozart's Thematic Catalogue. This includes stuff from February 1784 to December of 1791. For those Mozart buffs out there, you'll realize that those are it covers the last 7 years before he died.
Yeah, the latter symphonies and the Requiem.
Mm-hmm,
now, I'm wondering if there's anything in there about the quasi-dramatized exchange that occurred with that mysterious fellow about the Requiem. So in the film Amadeus, they show this guy appearing and commissioning the Requiem with the intention of stealing it. Now, I understand part of that actually did happen, but they got the person wrong. And I'm wondering if Mozart wrote about that.
Well, so I'll pull up. We have the images right here. So this is just one page out of it. You can see done by the date and has a little description of this. We have just the various dates, so people can match up the stuff with it.
With breathtakingly bad handwriting, I might add.
Well, this is in German.
Yeah, but even then, some of those characters are just not recognizable.
Well, maybe back in the 1700s, they had a different, typography classes.
There was a standard that maybe I don't understand. The Germans.
But
they were down in kraut.
But the more important, we're looking at the left side right now. If we go to the other accompanying page, we can see all of the sketches that he did.
Oh yeah, look at that.
The one I want to point out though, and the one that I think many people will recognize once I play it, is this little bottom guy right here.
What's that? Oh, hello.
Let me go ahead and just play the clip real quick, so maybe you can hear it. That is his Night Music.
Eine kleine Nachtmusik, ja.
One of Mozart's most well-known pieces, even if you're not in the classical industry. But you can see right here that the notes match up. So let me just play the intro again so you can see those matched up. So you can really You can see it. He wrote that. It's right there. The intro is right there.
How very nice.
And I think that was a big thing. I was just going through it, just trying to match up all of my Mozart pieces with the various sketches. So if you're a classical music buff, this is obviously something you should very much look into. I'm glad the British Library has made this publicly accessible. Again, link is in the description. You can check it out, and it's fantastic. Even if you're not like super into classical music, the fact that this is just publicly available is fantastic.
Yeah, curious minds abound will use this. I mean, I really wish that this was available during my undergrad studies because there was some speculation because this wasn't readily available. And
No, not when we were in school.
no, so this is really, really exciting stuff, particularly for the kids learning stuff in conservatories.
It's funny because I would expect it just to be so much. It's like only about 30 pages. I would expect it to be just like this gargantuan compendium. And they're just like, that's just the intro. The rest of it isn't really written out at all.
Yeah, well, there's these like, it's sort of like become a legend about how he would just do everything in his head, and I believe a certain degree of that is true.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, even the most impressive and amazing intellectuals in music, there's a certain amount of organizing that happens on paper, and I'm glad to see that there's some of that. Like he actually wrote down a reminder for the thematic material, and I'm certain he's like, well, I'll just invert it and slap it in retrograde, and then we'll go through these levels of development. But it's really just refreshing to know that workflows that were taught to me and some of my colleagues were used by one of the greats, the greats.
Absolutely.
Like, lots of non-classical people actually know how to say his name right.
Mozart.
All right, so I have a quick story, a fun aside from undergrad. There's a delightful fellow named Scott who played trumpet as a minor at Adrian College. Now, he is really a really gifted intellectual. But he didn't spend much time with the pronunciation. We had studio classes every Thursday at noon. So we'd come out there and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm going to play such and such. So he gets up there and says, hi, I'm Scott, and I'll be playing Concerto by Mozart. It was amazing. Like, it went really, really well, but the faculty were giving, you played well, sounded good job on that. It's concerto, not concerto, concerto, Mozart, with like a kind of a tsu if you're Japanese. Tsu. Yeah, anyway, it was a fun time.
Good old Concerto by Mozart.
Oh, it hurts
by
so
Mozart.
much.
Mozart.
Wolfgang style.
God, oh God.
I did it.
Turned an Austrian into a South Korean.
Oh.
God, when did that even come out? Regardless, so yeah, it's great that this is publicly available because they could have very easily just held on to it.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yes, the digitization of this.
Yes.
But it really brings up a big discussion for like future digitizing of anything of this sort.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to do something like that. Recently, John Williams made available his entire catalog by donating it to Juilliard, all of his material, and I think that would be a beautiful thing if that was similarly digitized. Though it isn't the sketch material, it still is finished works. It's important enough.
But I mean, hopefully this will start a trend for many classical artists, because I know some of my favorite composers are more recent though, and then copyright gets a bit questionable. Gershwin, Shostakovich,
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. If you could just digitize your diary so that I can have access to it, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, that would be important.
But regardless, let's hop over to something a bit more recent.
Yes.
Not quite as old as Mozart. But are you familiar with Taylor Swift?
I feel like I'm thinking of who that is, but only a blank space is coming to mind.
Yeah, you know, you just kind of you just take a look at what people have made her do over the times.
Well, I'm having trouble. There might be bad blood.
Well, you know, you can just shake that off, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
Wow, this is not how I intended to spend this time on this story.
Regardless, so she's released there is a new music video released for one of her singles off her album Reputation. That is the song Delicate. Let me go ahead and give that a listen real quick. Now that has a kind of a groove to it, but I'm gonna play you. The next song I'm gonna play you is is a song called Mutant Brain. And you wouldn't think that these two would be associated in any way, but I'm just going to go ahead and play you this song a little bit. And remember, these two songs are very integrally related to each other. Let's go ahead and let's hear that. So that is Sam Spiegel and Ape Drum's Mutant Brain featuring Assassin.
Spiegel.
Spiegel.
Yeah.
God, lots of German jokes.
The mirror. Yeah.
But you wouldn't think those two would be related. However, that song was actually, back in 2016, was used in a perfume ad for KENZO.
Okay.
That video, that whole ad was directed by one Spike Jones.
So what's the controversy? We've got two unrelated songs. We've got a perfume ad and Taylor Swift.
Well, if you look at the music video for both, the music video for Delicate being done by Joseph Kahn, but if you look at the two, they seem eerily similar.
Is it because he's a con man? Perhaps I should ask the man in the mirror.
Looking in the
Are you in pain
man
yet?
in the mirror.
Are you in pain yet? I'm wondering. I'm asking our tech people. I'm sorry to both of you. He's giving me a hand gesture off set. I'm not sure that the FCC will allow it. Okay.
Regardless, if you look at the two, you'll notice some slight similarities. In fact, more than some slight, because they were pointed out over Twitter various times and numerous times, were reported by a bunch of media outlets that Taylor Swift's music video rips off the KENZO ad.
Like rips off like Ice Ice Baby rips off, or
just very thematically. So if you look at the two just off the take, and we'll link all the videos in the description, you'll notice that the first immediate thing is they both have very strong yellow light. It's very yellowy on both of them.
So like the palette's comparable.
Right, it's very yellow.
Okay.
And you'll notice they have similar settings, both taking place in kind of an upscale hotel.
Okay.
But I got some stuff here that we'll put up on screen so you can take a look at. This is just one still from the shot. Here we go. We have Taylor Swift on the left. We have the KENZO ad on the right.
What? For a second, I thought that was the same. Like in one picture, I thought that was like a clip from one of the music videos.
Nope, that is both of them put side by side.
The only reason I could tell is because there's a line down the middle where the backgrounds don't match. Otherwise, holy crap.
Yeah, so that's just one shot from it. So, and one shot wouldn't do it. Like, people could use the same shots. But let's look at some other similarities.
No.
This one right here, this is both near the beginning, where they are both making unusual faces. So I'll go ahead and... the audio is cropped out of this, otherwise it'd be a mess. But let's just take a look and see how similar these two are.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. They are both making faces.
This is hysterical without audio. That pause face is money.
Yeah, there's Taylor's that's an album cover right there. But even more so, going into some of the dancing they do. They both videos feature erratic dancing. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this one right here.
Now, what's erratic about that? That's just how I do. That's how I dance.
But they're doing the same dance. This kind of hunched over, arms down, kind of like chimpanzee gorilla-esque
No, it's
dancing.
Thriller with a bad back.
It's Thriller with a bad back. Yep. But yeah, both music videos have very big erratic dancing.
Erratic. I want to be clear on that pronunciation.
Erratic.
Not erotic.
Erratic.
So that we don't lose our stone. It's Temple Pilots. I tried. It was not going to.
But there's also some very getting back to the story.
Like Tim, that does not deserve a transition back.
There's there's also some other thematic themes. Like they both all incorporate a supernatural element. Taylor Swift in her music video discovers she's invisible. Nobody can see her anymore.
Interesting.
And in the KENZO ad, it's a bit more on the nose. She just straight up shoots lasers out of her hands.
Whoa. Goals. Are they saying that's what the perfume will do to you?
You know what? Not exactly sure. But another big one that I want to point out, and this is one that a lot of people skipped over, but I saw this and when I was watching the two, and it was amazing. They both have a spotlight segment, and you'll notice how similar like they are moving. Just watch this part right here.
Interesting. Well, the concert hall appears to be different from what is like the ballroom they have set up.
Right.
The dance itself is...
They both have a spotlight segment that involves some sort of focused dancing. It's
I guess it would be one thing if the two directors hired the same choreographer and their work is just similar.
Mm-hmm.
But to have the same mise en scène, if you will, mise scene, if you're American like me,
but
and eat mayonnaise on white bread sandwiches.
I dug into it a bit more. Apparently, Khan has been accused of ripping off Jones before.
Oh?
Yeah, I tried to look into it, but I didn't see anything. But apparently this isn't the first time these allegations have arose. So that's interesting. And it's even more interesting. Spike Jonze did a music video himself. He doesn't just do ads. He did another music video back in the day that some of you guys might remember, if anybody remembers this song.
Check out my new weapon of choice.
It's been a minute.
That's Fatboy Slim's Weapon of Choice.
Man.
Spike Jonze did the music video for that. Music video featuring good old Christopher Walken.
Ah.
And just a couple of things I want to point out. When I pull up the video before I play it, you'll notice that it has the similar hotel scene.
Right off the bat.
And it's still that kind of yellow palette.
Mm-hmm.
But it also features erratic dancing in a hotel.
Wow.
Oh, I love this music video.
He dances so well. I'm so jealous.
It is.
He can just, walk in out.
But it goes further because it also incorporates another part, and that's the supernatural element. He can fly.
Interesting. So that's sort of ordinary to extraordinary progression. Well, that's crazy. That's really interesting.
So there has been an uproar among fans, I guess not Taylor Swift's fans, but just people have noticed the similarities and are just calling Joseph Kahn out for it. I highly doubt that it's on Taylor. I don't think the blame would be on Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, I always believe that a certain amount of responsibility lies on the creative in the mix, so maybe there could have been some due diligence done by the talent in this instance, because of course her CEO style of just managing everything in her life, I feel like maybe we could grant her some responsibility in that. But if it's the director, wow, that's crazy.
Yep. But all of those videos will be linked in the description. Delicate, the KENZO ad, and Weapon of Choice. Check them out for yourself and see what you think.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back in a minute. See you on the other side. All right, and we are back with Duly Noted, hosted by Dave and Tim. Dave and Tim, the Ma3stro, and ironically Tim. Yeah.
We're just going to change your name every week.
I like it.
We'll just go with that?
I'm happy with it if you are.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about stuff that came out and that stuff that's coming out. Tours. Very light this week. We have Little Mix with their Summer Hits Tour 2018. They start today.
Wow.
Or I guess tonight. Well,
wow.
It's today because
wow.
I'm just going to keep clipping in that Owen Wilson.
I was going to say, I'm going to be owing you an apology to your volleyball friend Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, so they're starting today in the Makuhari Messe in Chiba, Japan.
That's pretty good.
It's not Portuguese, let's say that much.
My only critique is that R should be more like a tongue flip. Ri. Makuhari. I took a little Japanese in the college. I hope senpai notices me.
I have very base anime knowledge.
Ooh.
I watched Dragon Ball Z back in the day.
I watched Dragon Ball Z yesterday, and it is awesome. The newest, no spoilers, but episode 130 in Dragon Ball Super looks so crispy and clean, my friend. It's good stuff.
Welcome to the Anime Memecast.
Mickey, my friend. Okay.
Regardless, so they start today in Japan. They're going to be going for 17 shows. Not a lot.
All in Japan?
And nope, they're going to end in, Butt Park. Bugth. Bugged. I don't know. It's in Scotland. It's in Inverness, Scotland, in the UK. Going for a total of 17 shows. What is their most recent hit? This is their collab with CNCO. Their Reggaeton Lento remix.
It started when I looked in her eyes. I got close and I'm like, bailemos.
Off that Despacito feel.
Right up in there, yeah.
But
Haha.
regardless,
He did it. He did it.
regardless, that's the only tour. They're starting. Everyone else is just cruising along.
There are some ongoing tours that
Oh,
are
there's-
worth noting, of course.
There are a ton of tours.
Just a bazillion of them.
I'm just gonna randomly, if I go through these, just randomly
Eeny,
call them out.
meeny, miny.
Eden's Vertigo World Tour, Demi Lovato's Tell Me You Love Me World Tour.
Yeah, that came through locally recently. I'm told
Oh,
it was
that's
very
right.
good.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, a friend of mine ended up on the kiss cam with their friend, and I guess they kissed other people. Bizarre, right?
Katy Perry's Witness Tour, Dua Lipa's The Self-Titled Tour, Guns N' Roses' Not in This Lifetime Tour. There's a bunch of tours going on still. Just look at this list. That's a lot.
Are they going to see this list, or am I just going to be admiring?
No, I'm just gonna blankly gesture.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Do
Wow.
you see this list? Do you see these things that the audience is not going
Well,
to
I
see
can't
in any way
read.
whatsoever? Because I'm not gonna screen cap my laptop and send it to our editor so that he can clip it in. I'm not going to do that. You're not gonna know what's going on. You have to wait till they either end or start. Deal with it.
That's very specific.
That was I got very aggressive.
I got very specific. Well, I would just look at it, but I can't read, so there's that.
We can talk about Bob Dylan's never-ending tour. It started last week.
Oh, yeah, he's a nobody.
Yeah, he did something.
Yeah, is that the bit now? Are we doing this?
We're doing the bit where we just rip on Bob Dylan. Is he dead?
He might be. He might be. I heard there's a tribute band. Who makes tribute bands to somebody in their lifetime like that? So, the new Basement Tapes. Have you heard the new Basement Tapes?
No.
It's a Mumford project. Very interesting because it's secretly also Johnny Depp's project. So if you check out Kansas City, which you should totally link in the description, but it's not my channel, so I can't do it for him. There's a recording of this song called Kansas City, and they just occasionally flip to the lead line guitarist, and there he is, Johnny Depp, playing a blues semi-hollow. I'm like, oh, well, would you look at that? Anyway, they're doing Bob Dylan music. That's the point of that aside. Man, I can derail anything. I am so proud of myself right now.
But there are a ton of tours going on.
Just having none of it.
One of us has to keep us on track.
That's right. That's right.
But I
So-
mean, there's a bunch of them.
So now that you're
Which is why we only ever mention if they start or end.
this tour de force that is this series of jokes, albums.
Albums. All right. So,
I'll take anal bum covers for 400. Suck it, Trebek. Yes. Sean has made an appearance.
let me go ahead and just wind this up again so I can remember where I am. Oh, yeah. So, if you haven't noticed, we have audio clips this time. So, I thought it'd be good. So, these albums, we're going to go over the ones released this week. In the future, we'll go over upcoming ones. But I just wanted to have these readily available because we talked about them. So, if you're releasing something for the week of the 30th, tough. We're
Bummer.
going to ignore it entirely. Deal with it.
We might have like a back thing, right?
We might. I don't know. It's only the first episode. We can change this format.
We can. I don't know.
Regardless, so we have not heard these before. This is going to be the first time we're hearing most of these. And we are just going to get our live reactions. I've picked a random less than 10-minute segment in all of these so we can get our honest reactions.
Good.
All right. So
Do it.
This is all for the week of the 23rd. We mentioned these last week, but now you get to hear them, and we will do this from then on, but for the upcoming releases. So, first off, Bless the Falls, Melodramatic. Or no, this is off their album. This is the song Melodramatic from their album Hard Feelings. Let's give it a listen. Okay, so like,
Love it.
all right,
Love it.
all right.
Gonna go buy it.
Bonnie Doon's Long Wave. This is the song Long Wave. There's a difference, though. Long Wave being one word is the album, I think, and Long Wave, the space, is I don't know which one is which. It's Long Wave.
But there's it's pretty chill. Okay.
Interesting.
So I guess they want to emphasize the fact that the wave isn't short.
I guess. It's a long wave.
I am so sorry. Please don't stop watching.
Moving on.
Please,
The
please don't unsub.
Cavern of Antimatter. their album Hormone Lemonade. I don't know if I'd drink that. This is their album Make Out, Fade Out. Boy, they're hard in on this.
That is troubling.
Well, let's give it a...
It's like woodblock and chiptunes.
The only
just...
thing that comes out of my head.
All right, there's only one version of that song, and it's the Real Big Fish version. I don't care how many times you say it.
I think that's the first one I heard, actually. Moving on. Erica Wennerstrom's Sweet Unknown. This is the track Unknown Love.
That's pretty dope.
That's okay. I'll agree with it. George Ezra releasing Staying at Tamara's. This is Don't Matter Now. Okay. God, that kick. That kick sounds... Oh, that's a bit...
I'm loving those cars, though, man. That is awesome. I'm gonna buy that one, too.
All right. Guided by Voices. Space Gun from Space Gun. That was a lot of one note. Hey, it's the luck of the draw. I pick a random 10 seconds.
Well, from that impression, I'm feeling this is almost like a cagey and minimalist thing.
I think it's just more of a rock. I'm gonna just pick the odd part.
Huh.
Next up, Jack White.
Who?
Jack Black.
What?
Jack Gray.
Oh no.
Jack
White was in something, right?
I think it was like the blue polka dots or something.
He enlisted in an army. There were like 7 nations.
No, I think it was 6.
Ah.
I don't think. I think it was the Air Force.
But when they give orders, they tell you to do.
Okay, that's pushing it.
That's the
pushing
best pun I've ever made in my
Here's
entire
this.
life.
This is what is this? This is Connected by Love from Boarding House Reach.
The worst and somehow turn it into the best. 'Cause I know
Yeah, that sounds like a Jack White track.
Yes, it does.
Next, this is the debut single from Jordan Davis's debut album, Home State. This is Singles You Up.
even know a single word. If he ever singles you up, if he's ever stupid,
The country album.
Sounds like summer.
Moving on. This
Drink
is
it with a shandy.
Boyfriend.
Listen to it while I drink a shandy. Yeah.
Boyfriend from Lissy's Castle. Here we go. Mark Pritchard, Beautiful People from the album Four Worlds.
Beautiful people. The
Beautiful people.
The beautiful people. The beautiful people.
And here's that song.
It's not the same.
Oh no, this is vastly different.
This wasn't found in a mansion.
All right. Moving on. This is a posthumous release. Rick Parfitt, Over and Out. This is Long Distant Love. Sorry.
It's acceptable. Wouldn't skip it. Wouldn't buy it.
Here's you played this one. We'll go ahead and play it again. Stone Temple Pilots Meadow.
I love this song. Man, what a different sound.
It is.
But it is going to be track 1 on my summer playlist.
I picked this specifically
Easy.
because the waveform changes so much.
Yeah, it's... Oh, wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Sunflower Beans, 22 in Blue. This is the song I Was a Fool. To maybe not buy this album or buy this album, depending on what this 10 seconds brings. Huh. From Your Mouth You Were Foaming. That's a song about rabies.
I guess.
This is the Ma3stro with their album The Ma3stro with their song.
The Ma3stro.
No, it's Serpent Tongue. Serpent Tongue. Yeah, man.
Dude.
Totally.
I can groove this one, right?
Totally.
Dude.
I was going from surfer to Australian. I don't know what was happening there. This is a track I think you'll like. Hopefully, The Swords Used Future. This is their song "Deadly Nightshade."
Yeah, that track grooves. I'm buying that.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
Moving on down, Tony Braxton, "Sex and Cigarettes." Deadwood. Was not expecting the strings.
I wasn't expecting this aesthetic at all,
Nope.
based on the title.
Nope. Moving on down. Oh, this one. Yamantaka Sonic Titan. Their album Dirt. And this is their song Someplace. That was
I kind of dig it.
I was not expecting this, I can tell you that much. And lastly, for this week, we have The Preoccupations with their album New Material. This is their song Espionage. Have you heard this?
No, I was just thinking we're not going to take it to the groove.
We're not gonna take it. No. Lots of rock. Lots of rock.
I dig it, man.
Lots
It's
of rock.
sort of like a rock renaissance happening right now. You know, it's been such an underperforming genre commercially for such a long time. I'm so glad to see more interest in it.
It is. I notice on the charts, the rock charts change the most frequently.
Yeah.
They really do.
Really short attention spans.
But not many of them ever make it to the Billboard 200.
Right. I mean, it was a novelty to see Andrew WK on there last week.
Judas Priest and David Byrne, I think, both made it to the top 5, though.
Yeah, with that from the new Firepower.
Firepower.
That was the track or the album that hopped up. It's good stuff, man.
Right. I think I actually have Firepower queued up as well for those who are curious about it. Yeah, here's Firepower. So this was on the Billboard top 200, as well as the David Byrne track. Very different song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Priest is really leaning on that old aesthetic.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
are.
The driving in your Oldsmobile down the highway with the top down kind of sound. You know, the breaking the law feel. I mean, it's not as though Rob Halford is a stranger to new music. I mean, he was featured in 2013's "Lift Me Up" with Five Finger Death Punch, and it was amazing.
Before You Go.
Oh no.
Lift me up before you
It's
go.
Wake Me Up.
Wake me
when
up inside.
September ends.
We went different ways with that.
Really different ways, but pretty much the same year though. Like when I discovered those songs, I don't know when they both came out, but I discovered those songs in like
Wake
the
Me
same
Up,
1 month.
September Ends was American Idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I forget when Wake Me Up Inside was.
You don't have to call me names while we're on the air. You're offending my sensibilities. I might take a holiday.
Evanescence is touring right now.
That's amazing.
Synthesis, that tour is going on. That classical revision of it.
They're running with this. What's that violinist name? Evanescence is doing a co-tour with them.
Joshua
Yeah?
Bell.
No, there was a young lady who's playing violin. I might be confusing my girl metal fronted ensembles. It might
It's not
be
Lindsey Sterling, is it?
Maybe. I might be confusing Evanescence with Nightwish. I frequently do that. And
Those are very different groups.
Sort of. I mean, they have comparable aesthetics. It's just that Nightwish usually brings in a real orchestra. I'm willing to bet $0 that I was right on that. Exactly $0.
I'm not getting anything about what violinists they're doing.
All right. Well, oh well. We'll throw in a correction if there is a need for one. Excellent.
But
so,
yeah, that's the releases.
A good setup for releases then. Not so good for tours.
Those all were released this past week, so those are all readily available. In the future, we are going to be do the albums that are coming out, but we feel like we do a disservice by not playing the audio, so that's why we went over them again this week, so you could actually give everything a listen.
Mm-hmm.
But next week, look forward to when we talk about what will be soon coming out, as opposed to what has already come out.
Yes.
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 Duly noted.
He-
Name drop.
Oh, he did it. They named the name in the movie. They did it.
They did the thing. Yeah, everybody, round of applause. We did it. We did it, fam. We did it.
It's lit.
It's lit AF. It's lit
It's lit.
AF.
But really, it's been a good a good time for album releases. Not so strong for tours.
Not this week. Only one is starting. Nothing's ending. That
And
was
you
about
basically could pronounce all of it. I'm a little sad about
it.
that.
BUGHT was a bit of a tough time.
Only because you wanted to say the word but.
Bucket.
But.
Bucket.
Butte.
But I don't. How would you? But.
But. Bug.
Bleh.
Just
devolve into making noise.
Just sounds.
Just now. All right. Regardless, this has been Duly Noted. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
And we are back, my friends. Welcome back to Duly Noted with your hosts, Dave and, ironically, Tim. Are we gonna keep that?
Ironically, unironically,
I might.
adjectively, adverbally. I don't remember my English.
Annoyingly,
Annoyingly.
punically,
That's an adverb. It's an adjective describing a verb. Yes, I remember English.
or is it a bad verb? A ungood verb? I speak gooder English than most people.
Reverb. Nation.
We're professors. Just gonna remind you that we're allegedly academics.
I grade things.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't.
I should.
You should.
I do. PSA, I totally do. Absolutely grade things.
Not in a timely manner.
Touche. Well, no, I make my deadlines. The day of the deadline.
Ugh, you're setting such a great example. Regardless,
I'm not late.
this is going to be our last segment, the vinyl verdict.
The vinyl verdict!
Get some mad auto-tune on there. Which is like,
Oh, dude, yeah. We can songify this.
Songify this. Shout out to Schmo Yoho. All of this is prime for songifying.
Sure. Yeah.
Go for it with the Oh Hi Marxiccord
Or
or the Pianikin.
Or you can do it also with the side note. You can have like a double weekly release thing, huh?
Oh, God. More work for me.
But we're on the vinyl verdict. And
All
what
right.
are we discussing for the vinyl verdict today?
We talked a lot about Mozart today. I mentioned a lot about Logic. And I do know one album that was released that charted this week was Lil Yachty's Lil Boat. Get it? Because it's a yacht and a boat. I make that joke in the show. But we're gonna go. Oh, don't be doing the thing that I do to you. That's not.
No,
how,
I just thought it'd be fun
that's
since
not how
you
this
did that was a Tim quality joke, which means it's bad. So I got to judge him for a second. It's kinda
Regardless, if Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart were alive today, what would his rap name be?
nice. That's tough, man. My instincts say he'd go with his first name, Lil Wolfie.
Wolfgang Puck. Do a collab with Anderson Puck.
Oh no! No! I'm definitely my vote's Lil Wolfie.
Or Wolfie.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like he needs something more.
Well, he was first off started super young, so he
He did.
probably would be like a SoundCloud rapper.
Like Lil Bow Wow, Lil Wolf.
Lil
Wolfie.
Wolfie. Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't know. I know it's a song, but like Rock Me Amadeus or something like that.
Oh no.
Rocky Amadeus.
Oh no. Yo, Adrian.
Adrian. Oh God, what was?
Thinking outside the boxing. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. Watch our shows,
what
please.
What could you do off Mozart?
Off of Mozart, you could do something with like, I don't know, the word Mo.
Most art.
He could just be Motown.
Mozart Town.
Mostown.
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 Little Mo's. Little Mo's. Little Mo's deaf.
Wow. What?
I just kept running with that.
That's fantastic.
Most deaf.
What about Amadeus instead of Amadeus?
Amadeus. Are these album names or are these Mozart
do you know the we?
I was wondering when that was going to come
I'm
in.
sorry. That meme died a little bit ago, but I don't want to let it go yet. I'm not ready. I'm still making Dat Boy. You could be that boy.
Dead boy. I need the unicycle.
Yeah.
Or the old version of, oh, here comes that fellow. My goodness, how do you do? Wait, no, I have to get like the curve just right. Oh, here comes that fellow. My goodness, how do you do?
Do the hand thing. Do the hand thing.
As I knock my headphones off. That's gonna be the thing that's on the internet.
That will be. Wow. You can't unring that bell.
No, I can't.
And I'm looking at you, Mr. Tech Person. Do not edit that out.
Just do a crazy zoom in on it. Like, shit. You spin me right. Just me doing this.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Didn't he had like a really long name? I remember there's more than just
There's
Wolfgang
a couple
Amadeus
other
Mozart.
things in there.
I'm
Do you
gonna
want to
look it up.
look that up while I try
Think of
to
others?
figure out what to do with the Zart? What if it's just Zart? Lil Zart?
Lil Zart.
Lil Mozart.
Johannes Chrysostomus Wolfgangus Theophilus Mozart is what he was baptized as.
Lil Felis. I feel like he'd be gross. I mean, he literally died because he like philandered super hard and got an STD that made him crazy.
Lil Wham.
Lil Wham?
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Lil Wham. Or just Wham.
W.
Oh, wait. No, that. Wait.
Ooh. No.
Wait.
Wait it.
Na, 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 na,
Wait a second.
na, na.
Oh, ahaha.
Amadeus. Deus?
Deus?
Lil Deus?
Little day drinker? He'd probably do it.
Yeah, he probably would. He liked it.
Crackhead. Got it. There it is. That's his name. That's exactly what he would have called himself. Yeah? Huh?
Just staring at the audience right now. Just like,
It's like you can almost literally see the exact moment that I break his heart by existing here. You can like zoom in on that exact moment.
Just like a zoom in hard cut.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You make oh no.
Oh no. For those who played, what was that, Sonic Adventure 1?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh
But
no.
I don't know. Honestly, it'd probably be something with Wolf. Because the only reason we call him Mozart now is because he's Mozart.
Wolfpack.
So it'd probably be like Wolf. Oh yeah, probably. You know what? Wolfpack.
That's the
Or
one.
you'd call his squad the Wolfpack, and he'd be.
Lil
Wolf.
Wolfie.
Would he be Lil? I think he'd just be Wolf.
Would he be maybe just Wolf? Wolf?
Wolf.
Yeah.
Well, if he was in because he was in Germany.
This is a part where I use a bad voice for the remainder of this discussion. Hello?
Well, since we apologized to Portugal, I'm gonna go ahead and apologize to Germany now.
Yeah.
I got family in Germany too.
I used to.
Shout out to Lara if you're watching this. I doubt you do, but shout out.
Aha.
It's my cousin in Germany.
Ah, I forgot to crouch that.
That doesn't. That's.
Lederhosen.
We're deciding that his name is Wolfgang Pak, after Anderson Pak. Pak. Pak.
Peck.
Anderson.Pak.
And naturally, his fans would be the Wolf Pack.
Yeah, there'd be the Wolf
And
Pack.
then you can have the double pack thing.
There we go.
On.
That's
all
what it
right.
would be. So look forward to his first album released, Like We Most.
Like we most.
Like We Most. Or no, he'd just be Night Music. That'd be his album, Night Music.
Nacht Musik. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lil night music. Well, that was a bad pop. I'm sorry to our friends in the booth. I apologize. What are you doing?
Remix!
Leave it alone. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Don't fire me. All right, friends.
I love how it's just looping underneath. This has derailed entirely. But yes, Wolfgang Pak is what we're going with for the vinyl verdict. That wraps up episode 1. Stay tuned for next week when we probably do all of this nonsense again.
And today we are doing our tracking here at the Art Institute of Michigan in Novi. Turn of the Dials radio style. We have Hunter Grunwald and the man behind the camera, videographer Peter Putman of Fueled by Coffee Productions. Thank you very much.
And until next time, duly noted.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag